Candell here, your anxiety relief guy, and welcome to the Anxiety Relief Revolution. If you've been here before, welcome back. Thank you so much for being an active participant and for coming back and listening to the podcast and watching my videos. It is amazing having a great fan base. In fact, for those of you that may not know, yours truly has started going viral on TikTok. I know, really interesting. I never thought that would ever blow up. In fact, about a month ago from the time that I'm recording this, I asked myself, what's something that you would never do that would make you feel so uncomfortable that you should probably do? And I love filming videos and everything like that, but it was TikTok. And I thought TikTok was mainly for comedy and comedy videos. So I just went on, I created a TikTok and I started shooting some comedy videos and just some reaction videos and everything like that, posting them. They got little views here and there, never really expected it to go anywhere. And then as I was going through my FYP, my For You page, I started seeing that there's people on there that are very inspirational, very motivational and impactful. So I said, I'm going to make another account under Anxiety Relief Guy. And that's exactly what I did. And then I started posting videos as the Anxiety Relief Guy. And it was insane how quickly it took off. Within 2 weeks, my videos started getting thousands of views, then tens of thousands of views, then hundreds of thousands of views, then millions of views. And within just a couple of weeks, my following base shot up to from 3,000 all the way up to over 175,000 followers in just a couple of weeks. So if you have a TikTok, find me on TikTok, Anxiety Relief Guy. And I'm just on there as Anxiety Relief Guy. And you can find me on there. Also on Instagram as well at Anxiety Relief, at Dan Candell. So that just totally blew up, and these videos, they go viral, and they really do help a lot of people who are suffering from anxiety and who are suffering or living in fear or in the unknown. So one of the things that I really want to talk about today is the little moments that we collect in life, because that's what life is. Life is a series of little moments, and we forget about that sometimes. Sometimes we look at the bigger picture. And when we look at the bigger picture, sometimes we start to have regrets. Sometimes we start to say, oh, well, I turned down that opportunity, or I wonder what my life is going to turn out like. I wonder what I'm going to do when I grow up. And I have these conversations with myself sometimes. And we forget to look at the little moments in life that led us to where we are today. So number one, remind yourself to look at those little good moments that led you to where you are today. And as you reflect on some of those good moments and some of the strengths that required you to get to where you are today, give yourself credit, because sometimes we are our own worst critic. So just take a moment and say to yourself, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for getting to this point. I'm proud of you for making it this far. And you know what? You could be at absolute rock bottom right now. And that's okay. And the reason why that's okay is because you're still here and you can have a vision. And you can use whatever is happening in your life right now as feedback and to call up on all of your strengths that help to get you through every other challenge and push forward. In fact, my dad, who is a very special guy to me, I just got off the phone with my dad, and sometimes we get into the mode where he and I just complain to one another about things, and I harp on him a little bit. I said, Dad, I'm the anxiety relief guy, and I don't want to talk about negative stuff. And he shifts right out of it, and he's like, yeah, you're right. Let's talk about something good. And we'll talk about a vacation that we went on one time, or how he and I used to work on a farm when I was growing up, and we used to do all these amazing things together. And my dad right now is not feeling too well. And instead of focusing on that, we choose to focus on the things that we did together that were really, really nice. So that way we bring these feelings into the present moment and into the present time. And instead of doomsdaying everything out of what's going to happen tomorrow or what's going to happen a week from now, what's going to happen a month from now, instead of doomsdaying everything out, we just are appreciative of the time that we had spent together. We are appreciative of those little moments in time where, for example, one of the things we talk about sometimes is how my dad and I, we went on this little snowmobiling trip and he got lost on a mountain one time. And we basically sent a search party out looking for him. And then he ending up back at the house that we were staying at in upstate New York. And this was like before cell phones, so nobody knew where he was. And it was like just this whole community came together in support of my dad. And we reflect on these little moments. So my reminder to you is to make sure that you remind yourself every once in a while, number one, that life is a series of moments. And you can choose to have more good moments than bad moments. And ask yourself, how are you going to make this moment right now the best? How are you going to make this moment right now good or the best that it can possibly be? So maybe perhaps when you're reflecting back, this moment can be one of the better ones, or this moment can be a time in your life where you reflect back upon. Another conversation that my dad and I had, this was about 2 or 3 years ago. I have a Jeep Wrangler. And for those of you who are Jeep people, Jeep Wranglers, the doors come off, the roof comes off, but you also know if you have a Jeep Wrangler, the thing is built like a cardboard box. And when you're driving it down the highway, if you live in New England around winter time, all the sand, dirt, and rocks kick up and they break the windshield. So one time I broke 2 windshields in 24 hours. My insurance company loved me. And I remember I had one rock that came up and went through and it cracked the windshield, and as I was driving down the highway, called the insurance company. They're like, "Oh, Dan, don't worry about it. We'll send someone out to fix it." They did. Then literally 4 hours after they fixed the windshield, I'm driving down the highway again. Another rock comes up, cracks my windshield again, and they had to come out and change the windshield again. So I called my dad and I said, "Dad, you're never going to believe this. You know how I just broke a windshield yesterday?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, they just changed it 4 hours ago, and I'm driving down the highway and another rock came up and shattered my windshield." And and I'm like, figures, it would happen, but they're going to send someone else right out. And my dad launches into this mode and he's like, "Danny," he calls me Danny. He goes, "Danny, you should be more upset about it. This isn't funny. It's not funny." I said, "Dad, sometimes you just got to look at your life and you got to say figures, this would happen." And he's like, it's not funny, Dan. I don't know why you're laughing at this." I said, "Dad, you're how old at the time?" I think it was 70 or 71. I said, "You're what, 71 years old?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, you were my age one time. You were 30 years old one time, right?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Did you break a windshield when you were 30? He's like, "Oh, I did a lot worse and break a windshield." I said, "Right. But at 71 years old, do you look back and think about all those windshields you've broken, or all those fender benders you've gotten into, or all the times where you've gotten a flat tire, or all the times where you've gotten a cold, or all the times where you did something you didn't want to do?" I said, "Do you reflect on all those times?" And he's like, "No." I said, "Why don't you?" He said, "Because I'd feel miserable and those aren't the times worth remembering." Oh. I said, "Right. So do you think this is really going to matter in the grand scheme of things?" He's like, No. There was another time where last summer my dad and I were actually driving in my Jeep and I stripped the whole thing down. I took the top off, I took the roof off, I took the back off, I took the doors off. And all of a sudden, my dad and I, we went out to lunch. We went to this outdoor seafood stand in New England, in Connecticut. And my dad and I were driving back to my house, and all of a sudden, without any notice or warning, it just downpoured. The skies opened up. And when I say it was raining buckets, it wasn't just raining buckets. It was like a tsunami. Water it was like we lived by the ocean and a tidal wave just came up and went poosh and just dumped down on us. So I had a blanket in the back of my car. So my dad and I, we we stopped on the side of the road. We were holding this blanket over us, and it just filled with water and dumped down all over us. We both looked like we were drowned rats. So, you know, my dad, the way he grew up, it's really funny because he grew up sometimes not being so positive. And I grew up the exact opposite way. I grew up like happy-go-lucky, glasses always half full, and look at the bright things in life. And my dad didn't really grow up that way, but I'm teaching him, right? He's trying. He's doing his best. So he didn't really get mad or angry or anything like that. He just kind of looks at me as it stops raining, and he just smiles. He goes, "Well, that happened." And I said, "Hey, Dad," I said, "if the worst thing that happens to you this week is you get rained on, you've had a pretty good week." And he goes, "Yeah, I guess." The reason why I say these things and the reason why I'm telling you these stories about my dad, number one, I'm having a sentimental moment, but number two, it shows you that even when some people perceive things to be really bad, you can remember the good, the funny, or the fun part of that story, of those little moments in time. And when you reflect back on these moments in time, it helps you remember the joy of what you have now, which is presence. And you're enjoying the time that you're spending now on reflecting on those good times. And I have had a lot of clients and a lot of people that watch my videos and listen to my audios and my podcasts, and they say, "You know, Dan, you talk a lot about like memories and going back into your mind and collecting these good memories. I don't have good memories. I don't have any good memories." Well, you know what? The three memories that I just told you about, the snowmobile, where my dad got lost, the crack in the windshield, the two cracks in the windshields, and the rain. Guess what? Those weren't good things that happened. All of those were pretty stressful things that happened. But we're looking back and we're remembering how we laughed about it and how we made it something good. And what that does, it rewires our perception and rewires our response. So the next time you go searching for the perfect memory or the perfect good time to think about, just know the perfect one might not exist, where you look at it and you say, "Oh my gosh, that was the best thing that happened to me in my entire life." No, but it's those series of little moments where you just remember shifting your perspective. And if you don't have any of those memories or any of those little moments, start making them now. So that way you can go back to them when you need to. When you need that little extra mental boost, go back to those moments. Go back to these moments. Go back to this moment. And remember that this moment in time will actually help your next moment in time. So you can look at yourself and you can say, "You know what? I really am proud. I'm proud of myself for allowing me to see the light in even the darkest of places." You give yourself a pat on the back and you say, "This was good. This was good." So with that said, my friends, collect some memories, collect some good times, and remember that life is a series of moments. And when you collect the good moments, or even your perception of what it would be like if certain things were good moments and had a little levity or bliss or brightness to it, then you too will start to see the light in even the darkest of places. With that said, my friends, I know I've been absent for a while with podcasts and videos. There's a reason, and the reason is because my business just went poof in a good way. Like, it exploded in a good way. Poof makes it sound like it disappeared. No, my business went poof in a really good way, where some of my content started going viral. We are actually getting a community of people where hundreds of people a day are actually purchasing my online programs and specials and everything like that. So now we have like thousands of people in my community, and we're working on building that community. And I just had to hire a team of people, which was awesome. And we're all working very cohesively together. But now I'm making more time to film more videos, to post more content, to help more people. So with that said, keep your eyes peeled for more great content. Well, hopefully it's great. And I'll bring some more insight, motivation, and tips to you. As always, be well, do good, and be true to who you are. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to get more mindset tips, tricks, and techniques that you can use in your everyday life. And if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button and drop a comment in the comment section below.